Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at a massive technological revolution, and it's secretly happening right beneath your feet. Literally. We're talking about a fundamental piece of automotive architecture that, honestly, hasn't changed its core operating principles in over a century. But suddenly, it's being completely redefined by artificial intelligence, incredibly sophisticated software, and advanced robotics. It's an absolutely brilliant leap forward, and once you see how this works, you're never going to look at driving the exact same way again.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to think for just a second about a physical action you probably take for granted every single day. You're driving a heavy 2-ton vehicle down the highway at 70 miles per hour, you see a red light up ahead, you press your foot down, and all that massive kinetic energy is safely scrubbed away until the car comes to a stop, right? But what actually happens when you press that brake pedal? We rarely, if ever, stop to consider the underlying mechanics of our own daily safety.
It's kind of funny, actually. There's this persistent, almost subconscious illusion that you're physically stopping this incredibly heavy car with the sheer mechanical force of your foot pressing against the floorboard. But the reality is, well, it's a bit more primitive than that. For over 100 years, you've essentially just been operating a series of pumps and hoses. You push a pedal, which pushes a long tube of hydraulic fluid, to squeeze a mechanical disc at the wheel. Now don't get me wrong, it's a wonderfully reliable application of fluid dynamics, but at the end of the day, it's really just dumb physics. Your foot pushes liquid, the liquid pushes a pad, and that is the entire chain of command.
Well, that century-old mechanical habit is officially becoming obsolete. Enter Sensify by Brembo. This is the ultimate paradigm shift in automotive safety. It's an intelligent, completely fluid-free braking ecosystem. And I absolutely love the name. It perfectly blends two crucial concepts. Sense, because it constantly perceives the driver and the road environment in real time, and Simplify, because it completely streamlines the vehicle's internal architecture. It essentially replaces that dumb liquid with highly intelligent data and software.
So here's how this brainy brake actually works in practice. When you press the pedal now, you're no longer moving a mechanical lever connected to a master cylinder full of fluid. You're just sending an electronic signal. Essentially, you're just communicating your digital intent to slow down. Instantly, a central control unit processes that data, factoring in things like vehicle speed, weight distribution, and road conditions. Finally, independent electric actuators, which are mounted directly on the brake calipers at each corner, apply the exact, precise clamping force needed to each individual wheel.
Now, if you're paying close attention, I know exactly what you're thinking. Wait a minute, my brakes are run by software? What if it fails? Look, that's a completely natural reaction. We've all had our laptops arbitrarily freeze up on us or our smartphone apps crash at the worst possible moment, right? So the idea of experiencing a digital glitch at highway speeds? Terrifying. But let's smoothly pivot here, because the engineering behind this system's reliability actually makes it vastly safer than the conventional setup you're probably driving right now.
Let's just compare the two for a second. With traditional hydraulic brakes, a single fluid leak or even a boiled fluid line, which is a really dangerous condition known as vapor lock, can mean a sudden, catastrophic loss of braking power. You lose the pressurized liquid, you lose your brakes entirely. It's a single point of failure. Sensify, on the other hand, relies on total redundancy. It uses dual control units and predictive self-diagnosis to ensure continuous operation. This completely removes the physical vulnerabilities associated with aging fluids, degraded seals, and pressurized hoses.
So the crucial point here is how this system actively protects you. First up, those dual control units mean that if the primary digital brain ever experiences any sort of anomaly, the backup system takes over instantaneously. The driver wouldn't even notice. Second, we've got wheel-by-wheel independence. Because there's no central hydraulic line connecting everything, if one wheel's actuator were to somehow fail, the system instantly redistributes the braking force to the remaining functioning wheels to safely bring you to a halt. Third is active predictive self-diagnosis. It's constantly monitoring its own software and hardware, predicting and compensating for potential wear and tear before it ever escalates into a problem. And finally, no fluid means absolutely zero risk of it boiling on a steep mountain descent or leaking out onto your driveway.
But beyond just keeping you safe, this technology fundamentally changes how driving actually feels. No more mechanical clatter, just pure serenity and control. Because the system manages each wheel independently and precisely, you completely eliminate those aggressive, clunky jerks you feel vibrating through the pedal when traditional ABS kicks in on an icy road. It actively prevents understeering while you're cornering by subtly managing individual wheel speeds. And for those of you driving electric vehicles, it perfectly smooths out that awkward, noticeable transition you sometimes feel during blended braking. You know, the handoff between the motor's regenerative braking and the physical brake pads biting the disc. It makes the entire deceleration experience totally seamless.
And this brilliantly illustrates another massive benefit of this AI revolution: sustainability. Get this. Of all global PM10 non-exhaust emissions from road transport, the tiny particulate matter created by brake wear accounts for a staggering 25%, a quarter! Because Sensify eliminates hydraulic fluid and meticulously commands the electric actuators to completely pull the pads away from the discs when you aren't braking, it gets rid of the residual friction drag that really plagues traditional systems. That means vastly extended pad life for the owner and a major reduction in harmful particulate emissions polluting our city streets.
Now, it's easy to assume this is just some futuristic concept car idea that we won't actually see on the road for, another decade. But get this. 100%. That is the percentage of vehicles in a leading global manufacturer's new vehicle program that will have Sensify fitted as an absolute standard feature. As of May 2026, this technology officially enters large-scale series production, expecting to equip hundreds of thousands of vehicles every single year. So this isn't vaporware, folks. The future is literally rolling off the assembly line right now.
Ultimately, this technology is grounded in a deeply human-centric mission. As Dania Shilachi, the CEO of Brembo, put it, Sensify translates their vision, reflecting a long-term purpose of shaping a zero-accident future. Because these electronic systems process digital signals rather than waiting for physical fluids to pressurize and travel through physical tubes, they boast virtually zero mechanical latency. And that is absolutely crucial. It means the reaction times for modern safety systems, like autonomous emergency braking or pedestrian detection, are incredibly fast. It's not just about making a smoother, more durable ride. It's about drastically improving road safety for drivers, passengers, and pedestrians alike by shaving precious milliseconds off stopping distances.
It's a brilliant reminder that sometimes the most profound and clever innovations are the ones we can't even see, tucked away behind the wheels of our cars. So the next time you stop at a red light, take a look down at your foot. Remember, the future of driving is already stopping you. But it really begs the question, doesn't it? If our cars are now braking smarter than we ever could, what other basic driving instincts are about to become completely obsolete? Thank you so much for taking the time to learn with us today on this explainer. I really hope you're walking away pleased to have discovered something entirely new and fascinating about the very machine sitting in your driveway. Have a wonderful day and keep learning.